What is up there, YouTube? This is J-Man Time, and today I have a video on one of the first, if not the first, submarine ever developed by Chile, the nation of Chile, way back in the mid-1860s, in the year of 1866. And this is not just a Chilean submarine, this is also a joint German and Chilean submarine project from the mid-19th century. And that submarine is the lost Chilean submarine Flach. The Flach was an experimental crank-powered submarine or paddle-powered submarine that were developed between the years 1865 and 1866, developed by a then-famous German engineer by the name of Karl Flach, along with his team of 10 engineers, both of Chilean, German, and even 2 Frenchmen, developed this submarine for the Chilean Navy between the years of 1865 and 1866. The first recorded submarines ever developed for the Chilean Navy led to a improved design known as the Flach or Flach, was built in late 1865 until early 1866 and was commissioned temporarily as an experimental vessel in April of 1866. The vessel was tested 3 times in the harbor or port of Valparaiso, which is one of the major ports off the coast of Chile, or on the coast of Chile. Now, the Flach weighed 50 tons. It had a maximum length of 41 feet, a maximum height of 8 feet, and it had a crank-powered propulsion system. It was a human-powered submarine, which was powered by a series of cranks and propellers, and had to be powered by a crew of 10, including the inventor himself, Karl Flach. The submarine had a maximum speed of 2 to 3 knots, and it could stay submerged for 8 hours, as Karl Flach had developed a new sort of oxygen system for the submarine. The system consisted of 2 large oxygen tanks and an oxygen renewal system that he had developed earlier in the early 1860s. This provided the submarine with enough oxygen to last 8 hours underwater. Now, what made the Flach an improved submarine was the fact that it was the first armed Chilean submarine. Not armed in the traditional sense, as it was not armed with a spar torpedo like most other submarines developed in the 1860s and 70s. No, the Flach was armed with 2 deck guns mounted in 2 rotating turrets, one in the bow and one in the center of the submarine. The first gun was a 42-pounder breech-loading gun developed by Karl Flach himself, and the second gun was a smaller 2.5-inch 63.5 millimeter gun fitted in a smaller rotating turret. So in a way, the Flach was kind of like a floating tank more than your traditional submarine, or a submersible tank more than your traditional submarine. The submarine had a crew of 11 altogether, including the captain, Karl Flach himself, and the submarine was tested between April and May of 1866 in front of the Chilean Navy. Now, during the first 2 tests, the submarine actually performed pretty well, being able to stay underwater for between 6 and 8 hours before having to surface for new oxygen. But tragically, on the 3rd of May 1866, during the 3rd test, the Flach accidentally sank and it was missing for at least 24 hours. Now, when the submarine sank, she went down with her captain and her inventor, Karl Flach, along with his Chilean and German team of engineers and construction workers that had built the submarine in the first place. It took the Chilean Navy 24 hours to locate the Flach, which was sitting some 50 meters at the bottom of the harbor of Valparaiso. The submarine was lodged directly into the seabed, as when she sank, she went straight down, plummeting into the sea floor. Now, the Chilean Navy was unable to salvage the submarine themselves, so they asked for help from the British. They asked for assistance from the British, as there were several British warships in the harbor also, including the flagship of the British Navy off the coast of Chile, the British frigate HMS Linder. A team of Chilean and British divers spent at least a week trying to salvage the submarine and its now deceased crew. But unfortunately, they were unable to do it, and eventually the British frigate HMS Linder was recalled from Chile along with its dive team. After a while, the Chilean government simply gave up trying to salvage the submarine, and the Flach remained forgotten for over 100 years until the year 2007. In the year 2007, the Chilean Navy launched an investigation in order to find the wreck of the Flach. and they managed to find the Flach in October of 2007, or at least they located the area where the ship is supposed to be. Now, the submarine is currently buried under at least 10 feet of sediment and mud, and as a result, the Chilean Navy has not been able to salvage the submarine even with modern technology. So since 2007, there have been various Chilean scuba divers and explorers who have been trying to raise money in order to raise the wreck of the submarine Flach, but the submarine has not been salvaged or raised. It is pretty much a tragedy in itself, as it was one of the first Chilean submarines, but also one of the first submarine accidents to happen in South America. The inventor Carl Flach, along with his crew of 10 Chilean and German and 2 Frenchmen, went down with the ship and are still entombed inside of the wreck of the Flach, buried under at least 10 feet of sediment. And that basically ends it for the story of Chile's first submarine project from the years 1865 through 1866. So what do you all think of the story of the Flach? Please tell me in the comments section below. And until next time, this was J-Man Time signing on.